Understanding Mother Stories podcast with Adeline Dubreuil. Your 10 minutes to talk about mothering and matrescence. Hello Mama! Today I am answering a question around Montessori at home. So it's quite common that families who have their children in a Montessori program want to work alongside the school, so then parenting values match schooling values, and it creates more consistency between both. It's also a question I have seen a lot in the last 6 years as I've been moderating on parenting Facebook groups and working with parents. So even if your child is not in a Montessori program, you can definitely bring Montessori principles into your home. I already touched base on part of this from the point of view of values. That was in episode 2, so you might want to listen to that episode first. So, a story I hear a lot is the one where parents don't know how to bring in Montessori into their home. And what they do is that they start buying toys that are sold under the Montessori name, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's Montessori related, but they have no idea what they're buying nor how to really introduce them to their child. So, before I go further into the main principles of a Montessori home, I have one main rule for you. Your home is not and is not supposed to be a Montessori classroom. What this means is that unless you're homeschooling and you have some training into Montessori work, you do not need any Montessori material. I know how tempting this is. It's pretty, it looks so cool on Instagram, but this is not what this is about. The material for classroom has been created by Maria Montessori with a very specific learning in mind. And this is not what we're talking about here. So no, you don't need to buy the pretty expensive pink tower or sandpaper letters, not unless you are in a very specific teaching situation. Today, I'm talking about following principles. So let's review the values I've talked about in a previous episode. And this will be about connection with your child, respect of the child, and observing your child so you can make their environment adapted to them so they're free to move and free to be themselves. The principles I apply in families' home when I do home environment coaching are around some of these values and are also very specific to each home and families. We're not using Montessori philosophy to try to make ourselves feel better or feel perfect, because there is no such thing as perfect. This is about you, what you want, who you want to be. It's about honoring your child and you as a mother. These principles I'm talking about are guidelines only. They're not here for you to follow exactly. You don't have to do things the same way than others. You take what makes sense to you in your situation as a respectful adult who's raising a child. I will definitely make more episodes on the subject, but today I want to talk about a couple of things that are good starter points. First, having a child-friendly home. So this one is about respect of the child and also safety. It means we make sure that the child can have access to many rooms in the home, and maybe most of them, but you can of course have boundaries around an adult-only office space or your bedroom or a storage area where the child is just not allowed or not allowed without supervision. But for the main family areas and the child's bedroom, we want them to have safe access to these spaces. So whatever this means to you, it could resemble not having major immediate danger, such as unsafe plugs, unsettled tipping furniture, sharp tools, or maybe other obvious danger. The reason why we want the child to have access to these rooms and be safe is so the child feels like this is also his or her home. We don't want the child to feel like he's living in an adult home where he's not that welcome to explore. Let's remember that especially for the first 6 years, there might be a need to climb, to touch everything that we need to take in consideration when we set things up. And as your child grows, we move things around, we adapt to the potential safety issues. For example, a 6-month baby is not going to have the same needs than a 2-year-old toddler. The second principle I want to talk about is around respect of the child, but also freedom of movement, which is a big aspect of Montessori education as well. So this is to have a child-friendly furniture and or child-friendly access to some main aspects of life, such as sleeping, eating, and toileting. So, as examples, for sleep, we usually use floor beds if you start this with babies, and then toddler-friendly beds when they can come in and out of it safely and as they need. I do know this might bring a lot of questions for some of you, and I'm totally happy to answer them in later episodes or on Instagram, so feel free to ask questions. For eating, we use child-sized table and chair, which you can find at very inexpensive rates at IKEA or even secondhand. This table and chair can be used for the child to eat snacks and other meals that they would not share with the rest of the family especially. So, for example, our children eat their breakfast together in the morning at their small table. For lunch, they and the children in my classroom eat on child-sized furniture. In the afternoon for snack, my children also use their own tables and chair, and I choose to go down to their level to share my snack time as well, and we connect through it as I adapt to their size. But for supper, we eat at the bigger family table. So it means that our younger toddler has to adapt and he has access to climb to a special high chair, and our older toddler likes to use an adult chair, but you can also use booster seats or other options. When you have a table and chair at their size, this can also double and being used for drawing, writing, playing, so it's also great to have for a place to play. For toileting, we have potties, but also toilet seats adapter. And then children can choose which they want to use. And it's also safer, especially under 3-4 years old, so they don't fall in the toilet, because it's sometimes a fear that some children have around using the toilet is to fall and not be able to hold themselves. So think about that with like seat adapter. They're also quite inexpensive. You can find them anywhere, including on Amazon. So these are just examples, and they're a great way to bring Montessori principles into your home. We can also talk about access to washing their hands as they learn hygiene and independence. So if you have step stools and a learning tower, these are also good options for them to go around the house without feeling frustrated and needing your help all the time. This way, they feel like this is their home as well, and that they're welcome to move around and grow within it. So I know that some of you might be playing around lack of space or awkward spaces within your home, and that's when I come in and do special home environment coaching at times. So feel free to message me through Instagram or the Oh Mama Facebook page if you have specific needs. My last little trick for a Montessori-friendly living is also having kitchen utensils access for the child so they can help you set up the table. And within this, Montessori homes do a lot of cooking and baking together. We connect through it, and it's great for practical life and confidence in the kitchen. And to be clear, the point is not to make a home for the children. It is to live as a family where both children and adults can feel safe and respected. The point is also not to be stressed about what it's supposed to look like. It is about love, respect, and connection for the whole family to grow together. Until next time, Mama. Hey, Mama, would you like to have some more clarity on the kind of mother you want to be, or you need help to get where you want to be? Then go to omama.ca and grab my free journaling challenge. I will help you every single day get where you want to be.